Bill, I have gone back to my jiu-jitsu school after being out for a while and after training at another place. How do you go about apologizing for the past and for not being there? That's a great question. My name is Bill Jones. I'm the head instructor of top level martial arts in beautiful downtown Cuyahoga Falls. Black belt under Master Pedro Sauer, and you're watching Professor's Corner. So, you see this kind of thing happen a lot. You know, if you've been an instructor for any decent length of time, you're going to have students leave. And I'm going to be honest, from an instructor standpoint, every single one that leaves hurts. Hurts bad, especially, I mean, you've put time into them. You know, I literally just had a 4-stripe blue belt call me up a couple days ago and say, hey, I'm going to go train at a different place. You know, what am I going to say? It's his path. He's got to do it the way he wants to do it. And that's kind of how I approach it from that kind of conversation. It's, you know, I just say, okay, you know, was there anything I did wrong? Usually the answer is no. I just, you know, like this instructor and I'm interested in training with them, what they do. And so from like an instructor standpoint, when someone says that, what am I supposed to say? They don't owe me anything, right? They don't owe me anything. So, you know, like you just say, okay, and you move on. But it does suck. It sucks a lot. But from the standpoint of the student, how do you apologize? Well, I would say if it was a conversation just like the one I told you about, when you come back, there's not a lot of apology required. There's a mutual understanding. Like if you left under good terms and, you know, like it was just literally like a, hey, you know, whatever, this guy had great whatever and I wanted to try to train it. Or, you know, maybe someone was seduced by a personality that they realized wasn't genuine when they got there. You know, you've heard us say on the show before, me and David Porter, we were talking about the grass isn't greener on the other side; it's greener where you water it. You know, but anyway, long story short, you know, in that kind of situation, I don't know that you really owe an apology. You know, like I mean, there's probably going to be conversations, but like you don't need to say you're sorry about that. I don't know. I don't want you to feel that you need to. And I think it comes from this idea that there's a lot of self-guilt when you stop training somewhere. And even more so if you just stop training. Like there's less self-guilt if you think you've stopped training because you wanted to train with someone else for whatever reason. But there's more self-guilt when you stop training for regular life reasons. Like you just stop going to class and then 5 years later you want to go back, but you feel a little guilty about the fact that you left or you stopped training, or you know, you feel like you screwed the person over or whatever for some reason. I'm not saying these are true. I'm saying these are common things that people tell me, that they feel like they let me down as an instructor, as a coach. And in some ways, yes, but not in the way you think. It's not that like, it's not that you let me down. Like, oh man, you know that guy was whatever. It's more like, man, I put a lot of time into that person and then they disappeared on me. You know, especially when they just disappear. That's the worst. It's like, man, where did they go, dude? He was a 3-stripe blue belt, or you know, 2-stripe purple. I was looking forward to getting him to brown belt, and you know he was finally going to get good, and like real good, and probably be a good black belt, and then they just disappear, and that's weird, man. It's weird for us as an instructor, but you don't owe an apology in that regard. You really don't. We understand. We're people too. You know, I'm a black belt. I'm filming from my home office, which is a cluttered mess right now. You see like a bunch of magic cards and you know games and stuff behind me, but. You know, like we're just normal people. So it's important to understand that. Like there's things we've quit in our day that we probably didn't give anybody any explanation for. It happens. And, you know, maybe when you come back, you talk, but I don't think an apology is necessary. And I believe that in most cases. I think the only time an apology is necessary is when there was an understanding between you to begin with. So, for example, I had an affiliate leave me, and he had literally never paid me for anything. Like wasn't never paid. You know, I never charged him unless I did like a seminar, in which case I always made sure that he had covered the cost of the seminar. If he didn't, he just paid me what the seminar covered. And then like had helped with lots of things, and then out of nowhere left me, and that was a little weird. So he would owe me an apology if he wanted to come back, just because like I gave him thousands upon thousands of dollars of time that he basically just flushed down the toilet. So in that kind of situation, yeah, they would owe you an apology, I think. But you know, like as far as, you know, like does your student owe you an apology for, you know, going, you know, stopping jiu-jitsu to raise their kids for a couple years while, you know, while their kids are in their formative years, and man, they know that in like 4 years they're going to go off to college and they want to spend more time with them? How could you ever even accept that apology as an instructor? You'd be like, bro, that's life, man. I'm glad you didn't miss it. The only other time I would say that an apology is needed is if you left in some weird circumstance. You know, like I did have one time someone kind of like stomped out of class screaming and yelling and left, and you know, they didn't like something I had said or the way I had said something, and they left. And it was really strange because one day, probably about 4 years later, I'm looking through the list of people who like register on my website, and I see this guy's name come up, and I'm like, man. And so I immediately call him, and I'm like, hey, how you doing, man? And he's like, good. You know, can we go get lunch or something? I said, yeah, absolutely we can. And like, I've grown since then. He's grown since then. And I mean, like, from a friendship standpoint and everything, it was probably a really good thing. And, you know, like I felt bad because, you know, I knew that he was upset about something I had said. And, you know, I admitted I could have said things and handled things better. He admitted he could have handled things better. But that's usually true in those situations. It's pretty rare that someone's going to yell and scream and stomp out of your school if you're completely innocent in the whole thing as an instructor, right? Like, you probably both owe an apology for some reason, unless someone just flips out. And I have had that happen one time, and that guy's just never coming back. But I don't think he wants to come back anyway. So there's that. He didn't like the way that someone tapped him. And that's literally what it was. I watched the whole thing. He got wrist lock. He was getting armbar. He was trying to hold on. The dude switched it to a wrist lock. He stands up. These wrist locks through his stuff. Stomps out of the school. You know, who teaches those fucking things? And da-da-da-da-da. And then just left. And it's like, dude, just don't come back if you're going to act that way. Like, it seemed kind of drug induced. I don't know if it was roid rage or if it was something else, but it did not seem like a well thought out human being. And this guy's still a white belt. You know what I mean? Like, I just think he didn't have the mental capability to deal with the hardship of jiu-jitsu. And, you know, that guy, I mean, I wouldn't say he could never come back for sure, but like, he would definitely owe an apology, not to me, but to the person he did that to. Because that guy didn't do anything wrong. And I had to tell him that over and over again for like weeks. Like, dude, you didn't do anything wrong here. All you did was apply a move that you knew that we had shown you. Like, it's perfectly legal to do a wrist lock. There's nothing wrong with it. He didn't snap it on fast. Nothing broke. There was no pop, no nothing. Dude was just pissed that he lost. And, you know, like, yeah, that guy probably owes an apology. But for the most part, listen, if you're out there and you've trained jiu-jitsu, or you were training jiu-jitsu or whatever, and you're hoping to go back, but you have that weird, like, little bit of self-guilt down in there about taking time off or whatever, guys, go back to your academy. Just go. I mean, obviously not right now, because I think all jiu-jitsu academies are closed because of the crisis, but maybe you're watching this 2 months from now and everything's back open. Guys, just go back. Just go. I promise you that you are worried about it more than your instructor. And in fact, chances are good that not only your instructor, but the rest of the people from your team are going to be happy to see you. I had a guy come back not too long ago, and he did nothing wrong. Literally nothing. Like, he's one of my favorite human beings, actually. And he had commented on my Facebook post or something, and so I sent him a private message. I said, hey, brother, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope life's going good. Literally never even considered, like, I'm not the kind to go on and be like, you got to come back, man. We miss you. That kind, like, I say it once or twice, and then I think they get the idea. But this guy had been gone for like 2 years, and, you know, so like, just as a human to human, I was just like, man, I hope you're doing okay. You know, how's the kid? Da-da-da-da-da. And next thing I know, he's back in the school. He's like, man, and he's like, man, quitting this was the biggest mistake. And I was like, you don't have to tell me, man. You know, you have your own reasons. And he came in and he paid for like 2 years up front. It was as an instructor, you're always happy to see people come back. I can tell you that from the bottom of my heart. It's very rare that someone comes back and you're like, oh, not this guy. Because if that's your thought process, you're probably just going to tell them to go somewhere else, right? When they contact you or whatever. You're going to be like, yeah, probably not the best time to come back or whatever. But most instructors, they're not thinking, oh man, you took this time off, so you don't know this move or that move or this move, or you owe me an apology. They're thinking, man, it's really good to see you. Like, they legitimately care about you. So I think that's important that you know that. Guys, if you're on the fence on anything like this, I hope that helps. Let me hear your comments. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can start doing some live feeds on the YouTube channel. So please hit that subscribe button if you're watching in secret. It really helps, even if you don't comment. Guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a great one.